Welcome to Take a Bite Podcast, Stories for Hungry Kids. My name is Miss Janine, and I'm going to tell you a story today to help you eat. Sounds easy, right? It is, but most importantly, it's fun. So, grab some breakfast, lunch, or dinner, a family member or friend, and your listening ears. Oh, there's one rule. Every time I stop my story and say, take a bite, you take a good bite of your yummy food. And if you finish that bite before I stop again, don't wait for me. Keep on munching. Okay, enjoy your meal, enjoy the story, and let's go! Take a Bite podcast stories are written for children 3 years of age and up. Adult supervision is always required while kids are eating and listening. Always remind your child to finish chewing before taking another bite to prevent choking. Please see our website, takeabitestories.com, for more information. By listening to this podcast, you agree to all terms and conditions set forth within. Wish upon a mushroom. Andrew woke early one morning to bright sunshine streaming through his window. It was a warm summer day, which meant no school, and which also meant a day full of exploring the woods behind his house with Ella, his best friend. Yesterday, they had been down by the creek when they found something very, very strange. Take a bite. They were standing beside the clear and gently flowing creek when they noticed a dark shadow between two trees on the other side. It looked like a doorway. Andrew and Ella had to get over there to see what it was, even if it meant getting a little wet crossing the creek. There were no rocks sticking out of the water, so they had to find another way to cross. Look over there! A tree had fallen and made the perfect bridge. Andrew and Ella walked over to check it out. Take a bite. The giant tree trunk was the only way they could cross the creek, but it was pretty high over the water. They would have to crawl over it to make sure they didn't fall. So Andrew and Ella got down on their knees and started to cross. Their hearts were beating hard and fast. The brown tree trunk felt rough under their knees and hands, and they were scared, but they were also adventurous and brave. They told themselves they could do it, and if they believed in themselves, it was definitely possible. The creek felt like a fast river under them as they slowly crawled across the log. Take a bite. Finally, they reached the other side without falling. Phew! They stood on the rocky shore and looked up into the woods where the dark, shadowy doorway was. Andrew and Ella held hands as they quietly, slowly tiptoed up through the bushes and over the leafy ground to the spot. They had to avoid some thorns, but finally they were standing right in front of a giant stone door stuck into the side of a woodsy hill. A door in the middle of the woods with no house attached? How bizarre! Take a bite. Andrew and Ella had to know what was behind this door, but their hearts were beating so fast again. They looked at each other, took deep breaths, and reached for the rickety door handle. They pulled, but the handle fell right off the door. Now what? Oh, Andrew had a fabulous idea. He knocked 3 times on the door and listened. Maybe someone was trapped in there. What was that? Take a bite. The kids were starting to get freaked out now, and they heard footsteps behind them. They turned around quickly and, oh, good. It was just Dad coming to check on them.
What are you two up to out here? I was watching you cross the creek from the backyard, but then you disappeared. Next time, make sure you tell me before you cross the creek.
The kids agreed that they would. And then the muffled sound from behind the door started again. Take a bite. Dad heard the sound too and was very concerned that someone was behind that door.
Hello? Is someone in there? Are you okay?
He asked. The sound stopped and the door clicked open. Dad asked the kids to stand back as he creaked open the big door. When it was all the way open, they smelled the strangest smell. And behind the door was total darkness. Andrew, Ella, and Dad took a minute for their eyes to adjust to the black, and soon something began appearing on the floor inside the room. There were hundreds of little things that looked like plants. Wait, they could see more now. These things were mushrooms. Take a bite. But they were not just any kind of mushrooms. They were rainbow-colored mushrooms with giant round eyes and long eyelashes. They were so cute! What was a strange room full of blinking mushrooms doing out here in the middle of the woods? Suddenly, they heard a tiny voice coming from somewhere in the dark room. Take a bite. We are the wishless mushrooms. We are here to grant your magical wishes. What do you want that is mythical or mysterious or magical? The tiny voice asked. Dad just shrugged his shoulders and looked to the kids to answer. Ella wasted no time and asked for an alicorn, which is a unicorn with wings. She told the mushrooms that she would feed it and fly it and take care of it forever. At that moment, a pure white alicorn appeared behind them, lowered its head, and outstretched its front leg to say hello as it stared at them from under purple eyelashes. Everyone stared in disbelief. Take a bite. Before Ella knew what to do next, Andrew was making his wish. He wished for a dragon that he could play with, just like his dog Sunny. The alicorn stamped her hoof behind them and poof! Right beside her now stood a bright orange and teal scaly dragon with a big toothy smile. The alicorn and the dragon just waited and watched the humans now, swishing and wagging their tails as if waiting for directions. Ella and Andrew and Dad could not figure out if this was all real as they rubbed their eyes. A rainbow mushroom began to speak again. Take a bite. You only have 1 hour with your mythical creatures. We must move our mushroom room to another part of the world to grant more wishes. And when we go, your wishes come with us. Go, enjoy this magical mystery. Andrew and Ella hopped to it and headed over to their alicorn and dragon, and they gave them each a pet. The creatures began glowing, and both dropped their heads to the ground so that the kids could climb on.
Don't just stand there. Hop on, hold on, and have fun. I'll see you in an hour,"
said Dad. So Andrew climbed onto his colorful dragon, and Ella climbed up onto her soft white alicorn, and into the air they went. Take a bite. They flew up over the green leaf trees and could see the stream below them. The stream flowed on as far as they could see. The kids waved to Dad, who looked tiny down there now from their place way up high. The air was cool and fresh as the alicorn flapped her wings gracefully, and the dragon swished his tail up and down, his way of flying since he didn't have wings. Soon they were far from the woods and home. Ella and Andrew didn't even talk as they took in all the sights and smells. Now they could see something bright and shiny in the air, far in front of them. Take a bite. Soon they were close enough to the shiny thing to touch it, but they didn't want to, that's for sure. It was a hot orange star. A star right there in the sky, below the clouds, during the day. How incredible! The alicorn and dragon flew around the warm star slowly as they turned around to head back. It was a good thing because Andrew and Ella were starting to get hungry for lunch. Now they flew over horses galloping through a field of yellow flowers, and a flock of crystal white snow geese with black wingtips was flying all around them. They honked happily, and the baby snow geese sat right on the alicorn and dragon's back with Andrew and Ella for a free ride. Take a bite. Now the kids could see Dad again, way down there in the woods besides the mushroom room door. The geese had flown away, and the alicorn and dragon began to hover back down to the ground. Andrew and Ella held on tight as they swished through the soft tree leaves and soon landed softly on the forest floor beside the creek. The door to the mushroom room was wide open now, and it was as bright as day in there. Andrew and Ella could see all the mushrooms' long eyelashed faces full of joy. They seemed to love to see wishes being granted. Poof! Just like that, the alicorn and dragon vanished, and the kids stood smiling and grateful. Take a bite. Dad rushed over to check that the kids were okay after their flight. They were more than okay. They were great. Everyone went to walk over to the mushroom room to say thank you. But now there were only bushes and grass where the door used to be. It had vanished too. The kids didn't mind. They were so hungry for lunch and super thirsty too. So they all headed back to the tree bridge to cross the creek. But weird! There were 4 huge red and white polka-dotted mushrooms popping out of the water like stepping stones where the tree used to be. It seemed like even though the room had moved on to grant wishes elsewhere, the mushrooms were still there to help. Andrew, Ella, and Dad hopped across the stream with stories to tell and wishes granted. Take a bite. The end. Well, are you full? Did you finish your meal? Good job! If you didn't, keep eating. Mom or Dad can head to our website, takeabitestories.com, for some discussion questions. You can see what you remember about the story, how it made you feel, and what you liked about it. If you're all done for now, thanks for listening. I hope this story made you hungry for more. Bye-bye.